for the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia last played on Friday night, lost in Boston 105-93. They have lost 3 in a row to Atlanta, Charlotte, and Boston, all double-digit defeats by a total of 49 points. So this is a club not only losing, but losing badly.
That's the worst kind of losing, Marv, you know?
In fact, the 76ers have allowed opponents to shoot a combined 58% from the floor in those 3 defeats.
Just saw strolling Doug Moe. Now we're looking at Manute Bol, who has taken a step back in importance to this team. He started for quite a spell. The team was 10-5 with him in a starting role several weeks back. This happy face has decided to change things around a little bit.
However, Manute and his wife, Atang, it should be mentioned, are the proud parents of a baby girl that weighed in at 5 pounds, born at 328 this morning at the Prince George Hospital Center in Cheveley, Maryland. Here are the Hertz starting lineups. We'll join with the public address.
The center in his 8th season of Georgetown, 7 feet, number 33, Patrick Ewing. Season for Virginia Union at 6'9", number 34, Charles Oakley. At the other forward, his 5th season of Pittsburgh at 6'10", number 54, Charles Smith. The Knicks coached by Pat Riley. His assistants, Dick Harder and Jeff Van Gundy. The trainer is Mike Saunders.
Welcome. Watch out, here we come.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup here, Philadelphia 76ers. At one guard, his 7th season of Duke at 6'2", number 12, Johnny Dawkins. Off from the backcourt, his 5th season from Bradley, 6'3", number 33, the Hawk, Hershey Hawkins. The center in his 5th season from Arkansas, 6'11", number 28, Andrew Lang. At one forward, his 5th season of Temple, 6'9", number 23, Tim Curry. And at the other forward, in his rookie season of Southern Mississippi, 6'7", number 30, Clarence Witherspoon. 76ers are coached by Doug Moe. His assistants, Fred Carter, David Moe. Assistant coach and director of scouting, Tony DeLeo. The team trainer is Mike Amtenor. The officials for tonight's game are number 20, Mr. Jess Kersey. Number 16, Mr. Wally Rooney. Number 34, Mr. Ronnie Dunn.
Well, the starting lineups for the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers, and we were told prior to the game that Charles Smith probably would not start, but as you just saw, he is in the lineup coming back from the flu. The officials, Jess Kersey, Wally Rooney, and Ronnie Dunn.
Well, the Knicks over their first 33 games, a shade under 100 points, 97 a game. The last 11 games, it's been a totally different picture. And how about the Knicks scoring over 100 points, something that eluded them throughout that initial part of the season? 10 of the last 11 games, the Knicks have been at 100 or more. And they've won 9 of those 11 games. So scoring over 100 has been a good sign of health for the Knicks.
And tonight's game will complete a stretch in which the Knicks have played 4 games in 5 days. They have won their last 2 on the road. They've won 4 of their last 6 away from home. Following tonight, the Knicks will have several days of rest. They will not play again until Thursday night at Madison Square Garden against the Houston Rockets, and then Friday they will be in Chicago and Sunday afternoon at Orlando. The Knicks control the opening tip. Greg Anthony being played by Johnny Dawkins for the injured Jeff Hornacek. Now Ewing going against Lang, and he is rejected. Starks for 3. And Oakley able to get to it. Nice feed. Smith for Ewing. Yes, and it counts. So the Knicks opening up with some snappy passing.
Well, Marv, when you were attending the NHL All-Star game in Montreal and then slipped over to Phoenix yesterday for the Suns game, the Knicks were, against Miami, establishing a higher level of passing the last couple of games. And isn't it nice that they opened this game up with this kind of unselfish play? Charles Smith did a nice job setting up Ewing for that 3-point play.
Doug Moe shuffling his lineup along with Dawkins, who was in there because of the injury suffered by Hornacek. Clarence Weatherspoon hitting for Philadelphia, but Andrew Lang has been the starter at center. Here's Smith, and he's fouled by Weatherspoon. Lang replacing Manute Bol, who has not played well recently. And the other change, Tim Perry for Armin Gilliam. Tim Perry earning the start because of his recent productive play, although he did start in Boston the other night and came up with only 2 points and 3 rebounds in 15 minutes.
This is the man that the Knicks want to see loosen up. He started out well in Miami the other night in the first quarter. With first half he had 9 points, and then he got in foul trouble, didn't play the rest of the way. But if Charles Smith can get unleashed like his teammates have been of late, the Knicks are really going to go up several notches.
Weatherspoon putting the head fake on, drew the double team and fouled by Smith. Clarence Weatherspoon, the rookie from Southern Mississippi, will go to the free throw line. We mentioned on Knicks game night that the Knicks have reactivated Bo Kimball. He had been on the injured list since mid-November with a hip injury. Eric Anderson suffering a severe ankle sprain in the game last night, so he's been placed on the injured list. Bo Kimball not on the bench, and we'll have to check out his whereabouts. So the Knicks are going with 11 on the roster. Patrick Ewing giving the Knicks a 6-4 lead. Weatherspoon. And the game is tied at 6. Weatherspoon with all 6 76er points. Here's Ewing.
Knicks are facing a team now that's playing for pride. Always the most dangerous when a team is like that. And the Sixers are opening up, making very difficult shots here.
Percy Hawkins giving Philadelphia an 8-6 lead. 2 minutes gone by in this first quarter. Starks with a quick release. And back comes Dawkins. Johnny Dawkins with that hesitation dribble had it knocked away. Recovered, though, by Perry. Weatherspoon off the head fake, had the baseline closed by Oakley. Goes to the spin. 8 points for Weatherspoon. He's 3 of 3 from the field. The Sixers lead it 10-6. Now Smith down low. Changed his mind, and he's called for a travel. Charles Smith had a strong game, you'll recall, last Thursday at the Garden against Golden State when he started at center. Patrick Ewing sitting it out with a bad knee. Weatherspoon was fouled. It has been all Clarence Weatherspoon taking the role of Charles Barkley and being the focus of the offense here in the early going. Greg Anthony called for the foul.
Clarence on his way to his per-game average of a little bit under 15 a game. He's off to a tremendous start. Charles Barkley is his hero in many ways. And one of the reasons that Charles is no longer here is because this team drafted this fine young talent. Charles, going to Phoenix, and Weatherspoon, similar in physique and style of game, has opened up with those fadeaway jumpers and his powerful drive.
7-0 run by the Sixers, and they lead by the score of 11-6. They double up on Ewing. The pass intended for Oakley, recovered by Smith. Again, the double team comes, and Ewing had it knocked away by Lang. So the Knicks with 5 on the 24. Anthony trying to hit Ewing at the baseline. It's a 24-second violation.
Well, as we know, as everyone knows who's close to pro basketball, nothing is automatic. What happened yesterday is not necessarily going to happen today. Knicks standing around a bit on offense have got to get a little more motion out there.
Here's Perry, and that's a traveling violation. So the Knicks get it back. Sixers 11, and the Knicks 6. And just Kersey with the call away from the ball. And Tim Perry picks it up, and Charles Smith will put it in play. Ewing over Lang. So the Sixers with an 11-8 lead. Ewing has hit 3 of 5. He has 7 points. Hawkins with the drive is fouled.
Sixers rushing that ball up court quickly, getting the Knicks off balance now. Knicks have got to step it up a notch in their defensive transition.
Foul called on Ewing. Percy Hawkins to the line. Percy over the years, one of the better foul shooters in the NBA.
Looking at our AT&T long distance shooting description of Percy Hawkins in the three-point department this season, 38%. Those are very fine numbers. Of course, his best was the earlier part of his career.
Sixers 13 and the Knicks 8. 4 minutes gone by. Here's Ewing. So Patrick Ewing off to the fast start. 9 points for Ewing. Perry and Lang, who is not much of an offensive threat.
Knicks are digging in now a little bit more on defense, and it paid off.
And last touch by Stark, so the Knicks will maintain possession. Sixers 13 and the Knicks 10. Stark shooting. So the Sixer lead is down to 1. Now Weatherspoon putting the move on Smith. Weatherspoon to the fadeaway. Oh, he's on fire. 11 points, 11 of the Sixer 15 points by the #1 draft pick, the rookie from Southern Mississippi. But Ewing right back, and Patrick Ewing scoring at will has 11. Lang, well, that's an unusual sight to see Andrew Lang hitting a rainbow jump from out deep.
He certainly made it look easy, Marv, and he should continue.
Here's Smith. And Hawkins. Well, the 76ers red hot in this first quarter. And they now lead 19-14. Pat Riley calling for time. 6.5 remaining in the first. Rivers replacing Anthony. The Knicks front line, Ewing, Mason, and Oakley, Rivers, and Starks in the backcourt. First 3 games against the Knicks this season, Philadelphia shot 39%, and they open up red hot here in the first quarter.
Ewing with the strong rebound was rejected by Lang from behind. Nice play by Lang.
And Witherspoon got inside, but could not convert. Good play by Dawkins to break it up.
Witherspoon has that spring that Barkley has, ability to jump quickly and then follow it up with an equally effective jump. What a perfect lead pass. Got it over Mason, and the help arrived nicely. Ewing and Oakley, the combination got there just in time.
Rolando Blackman has come on for the first time. John Stark sits down. Just under 4 minutes to go. Well, Blackman looking for a foul call, but he lost it.
Looked like he was mugged almost, but he just lost his balance and his footing.
Sixers with the ball. They lead by 5. Dawkins for Witherspoon. He has crushed the Knicks in his first quarter. 13 points for Clarence Witherspoon on 5 out of 7 shooting.
Now, Marv, you were in the presence of Charles Barkley yesterday in Phoenix. Got to see similar type motion out there with Witherspoon's body, huh?
And he's on pace with what Barkley accomplished in his rookie season with the 76ers.
Nice setup pass to Witherspoon. He got running room. You could see nobody was in front of Witherspoon. That was the problem for the Knicks.
Foul called on the Sixers. Clarence Witherspoon will be in the field of 8, competing in the slam dunk competition during the All-Star break.
Boy, are you in sync with our production team, our crack team, Marv. Clarence Witherspoon on our Old Spice leaderboard, one of the many names. At the top is the reigning champion, Cedric Ceballos, from last year.
And Patrick Ewing to the free throw line. Pat Riley in a conversation with Jess Kersey, one of the officials.
Introducing himself. Yes, I'm Pat.
Sixers by 6 as we come up on 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Here's Hawkins wide open.
Thanks to the wicked pick that Witherspoon set, getting him free.
Oakley setting on Gilliam and then pops it out. Here's Blackman open. Yes. Again, the good ball movement by the Knicks, and they trail by 4. Gilliam blowing right by Oakley. Sixers 29, Knicks 23. And Oakley hit by Gilliam.
One of the things that Doug Moe is not happy about, nor was Phoenix, was the defense of Armand Gilliam. He let Oakley slip right in front of him.
Well, we're almost there.
To this red-hot open that the Sixers have presented to the Knicks. How about a pick? This is a pick. Witherspoon gets rid of Blackman. And that set up the nice jump shot on the side, which was missed by Hersey Hawkins. But that's what a good pick does. Gives your teammate time to shoot. Armand Gilliam danced by, sailed by Charles Oakley, and then could not be stopped by Patrick Ewing. But at the other end of the court, Oakley just got Gilliam setting himself up for a nice shot. Just ran right around him and got a return pass in close.
Number 20, Ron Anderson checks in.
And Clarence Witherspoon will get a rest. 13 points in his first quarter, hitting on 5 out of 7. He averages just over 14 per game. Charles Oakley to the foul line. Sixers lead by 5 points. Philadelphia started the game hitting its first 7 field goal attempts They went 7 minutes, 2 seconds before they missed. They are now 11 for 15, while the Knicks have hung in there 10 of 20. And the Sixers with a 29-25 lead. Just say the Sixers hit their first 9 from the floor. 9 for their first 9. Here's Gilliam. And the one-time Nick Grant has come on for the first time.
Sixers are now pressing a bit on their shot attempts. Oh, and a slick move by Anthony Mason, finishing with that slam dunk preceded by that crossover dribble.
So the Sixer lead is now 2. The 24. Well, the Sixers have hit only 2 out of their last 8 after going 9 for 9. Grant with the steal, turns Rivers around, but misses the layup. Mason, and that ties the game at 29. You can hear the Knicks support in the Spectrum crowd.
Yes, there's always several people that tell us before the game that they've made the trip down here and they're Knicks fans.
And Doc Rivers pulls it out of the hands of Tim Perry. So they will jump it up. Here's Tony Campbell, had the 21-point season-high game last night against Miami, replacing Charles Oakley. Sixers control the tip, and Gilliam gives the 76ers a 31-29 lead. Those of you who have tuned in, John, I know if you were home, we'd be talking right to you. Those who have tuned in looking for the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show, this is not it. It is being seen on MSG2. We'll keep reminding you about that during the course of this telecast.
Well, Marv, I know you'd be happy for me that I met Robert, the potential champion of the show. Ron Anderson hitting that jump shot last night. Al Trotwick had Robert on his lap at halftime. I see. Springer Spaniel. Champion form, too, I might add.
I know Robert mentioned that tonight is opening night at the dog show.
We were kind of wishing you were there to have Robert on your lap, too. But
absolutely.
We conjectured that you would have passed Robert to me first.
Absolutely. And it's called on the Knicks. Offensive foul. Ewing collects his second.
If there could be a problem in this game, it would be Ewing getting in foul problems. That's a very difficult foul to see and replay. The foul that Ewing was called for.
Herb Williams replacing Patrick Ewing. A good start for Patrick. 14 points. Hit 6 out of 9 from the field. Patrick Ewing in the previous matchup against the 76ers on January 22nd had 34 points and 15 rebounds. That's the game that saw Ewing blocked on a number of occasions early by Manute Bol as he continued to go at him, then decided to go outside and killed the 76ers. Dawkins setting it up. Here's Grant. And it's a 24-second violation. It will be Nick Ball right now. The clock showing 1 3/10 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Marv, as you recall, also, that was the game that Pat Riley described his team as being very selfish and fortunate to win that game, as they were outscored by the Sixers in the fourth quarter. Assuming victory, they put forth a lackluster effort, in Pat Riley's opinion.
So that also around the time where Patrick Ewing was receiving some criticism for taking too many outside shots, so he asked Pat. Here's Rivers. He had asked Pat for permission to go outside and take the jump shots, and Riley gave the green light. You can recall Doc Rivers hitting that buzzer basket last time the Knicks and the Sixers met in Philly, threw one from the backcourt. That one went short as this first quarter came to a close, and the scene last time the Knicks were in Philly. Knicks winning 109-91, and Rivers was right on target.
And that was a first quarter finale. And Rivers knew about it when he just took this last one.
So Doc now the first quarter heave specialist.
20 Samson, and I'm the mayor.
A real winner knows how to party right. Please use good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
Well, Manute Bol has just checked in for the first time as the second quarter gets underway. Anderson from deep. Mason with the rebound. The Sixers 33, the Knicks 29. Here's Campbell. Last touched by the Knicks. Manute Bol seems to have fallen out of favor with Doug Moe. He went through a stretch where he was in the starting lineup and did some good things for a spell, but was not the catalyst that Doug was looking for, so he's gone back to Andrew Lang as the starter.
Well, when we were here a couple of weeks ago, this team was pointing out that they were 10-5 with Bol as a starting man, and that was a big part of their success. How about Armand Gilliam going to the left hand on that drive? But Marv, you know, when we talked to Doug Moe before the game, he pointed out how Bol's teammates have been playing down and poorly, and that has brought out his lesser qualities even more so, particularly, I mean, on the offensive end is what I'm referring to. So they can't afford to have him in the starting lineup when those around him aren't getting it done. There's the effect of Manute Bol on Mason's attempt.
And here's Anderson going behind the back, and he lost it. Rod Anderson claiming it was knocked away. You saw the shooting in the first quarter. Both clubs red hot. Mason trying to go right at Bol.
Bol doesn't have to slap the ball away to have a very deterring effect on an offensive move like Mason's.
Campbell looking to post up. Shot clock at 4. Rivers for 3 points. It will be Sixer ball. They go with a backcourt of Greg Grant and Rod Anderson at shooting guard. Manute Bol, Tim Perry, Armand Gilliam up front.
Orlando Blackman doing a little pushing. Anderson trying to get free. Well, if you recall the last time we were here also, Orlando Blackman was a big part of our feature. The fact that this was his 900th game in the NBA and that he had never fouled out of a game here in regular season. And lo and behold, Orlando picked up his 6th personal foul and made it quite a story.
Mason called for that foul. Clarence Weatherspoon is back on the floor for the Sixers. He was hot in the first quarter, 13 points for Weatherspoon. Sixers open up by hitting their first 9 shots, built to a 25-16 lead. Knicks with a 13-4 run to tie the game at 29. And the Sixers lead it here by 6. Tony Campbell upset, and he's hit with a technical. Argued the call. Gus Kersey did not like the expression from Tony, usually very mild-mannered, but apparently Kersey felt that it was being shown up by the motion of Campbell, and the tee was called.
From the player's standpoint, when you reach around an offensive player, it looks so much like a foul. Many times the official will call it. Of course, the assumption is that it was a foul, as from Jess Kersey's viewpoint, but a lot of times those aggressive reach-around attempts by the defense will always be low percentage in that the foul will be called. And Tony Campbell felt that he didn't hit the body, he got the ball, and that's what he was reflecting.
Anderson hit the technical. 76ers have a 7-point lead. Crowd urging Bol to launch one from 3-point range. Herb Williams will not allow it. Gilliam with the recovery. Campbell trying to control the dribble. Gilliam off the steal. Wild shot, and then Anderson converts on the follow. Sixers now lead 38-29.
The Knicks are being confronted now with a team that's very highly motivated. They got off to a good start with their first 9 shots going in the basket. The Knicks are facing a team that's building some momentum now with energy and hustle.
And the Knicks in the midst of a sloppy period. Gilliam Gilliam posting up Mason. Herb Williams was fouled.
His second.
Gilliam called for his second. Armand Gilliam coming off the bench tonight. Tim Perry starting the game. Jeff Hornacek, 76ers top player, sitting out because of a sore knee. So Johnny Dawkins in the starting lineup. Herb Williams line drives it to bring the Knicks within 7 points. 5'7" Greg Grant now quarterbacking the club. And a foul called on the Knicks. Ronnie Nunn makes the call. It's on Campbell. And there is Jeff Hornacek, who going right down to the final hours of the All-Star balloting was leading the way, but was beaten out by Isaiah Thomas for a starting role.
Hornacek deserved it based on his play far more than Isaiah this season.
Weatherspoon was pushed. Clarence Weatherspoon getting inside, and the Sixers controlling the boards here in the second quarter after the Knicks out-rebounded them in the first.
Weatherspoon, a major force here. Look at that effort by him and his ability to reach back. He was just up quicker and higher, despite the fact that he is 6'6" tall, which in rebounding situations, in flat-footed rebounding situations with the front line out there, that is not tall. He out-jumped taller people around him.
Weatherspoon only a 70% free throw shooter. Percy Hawkins making his return. Armand Gilliam will sit down, so Doug Moe shuffles back to a combination of Hawkins and Grant at the guards. Bull is up front with Weatherspoon and Anderson. 76ers lead the Knicks 40-31. 3.5 gone by in the second quarter.
You know what Pat Riley is hoping for, and that is that the Knicks don't get into a form of play that says we've got to do it in the closing minutes of the game. Orlando Blackman, reliable coming around that pick. He is looking for consistent play by his team and not dramatic finishes.
Herb Williams not allowing Manute even a notion of taking a three-point shot, showing some respect. Here's Weatherspoon. Perhaps unnecessary respect for Manute. Campbell with the rule. Yes. Sixers 40, the Knicks 35.
By keeping those feet moving, Tony Campbell got free and Mason recognized him.
John Starks getting set to return.
Oh, what a play by Rivers. He saw that all the way. That's the hustle that Pat Riley's been yearning for here.
Anderson. Mason with the rebound. Campbell again open. It's down to a 1-point 76er lead, and the Sixers take a timeout with 7:17 remaining first half, an 8-0 run by the Knicks.
Bench players out there for the Knicks that have ignited this 8-0 run. Tony Campbell kept moving. Mason saw him and he hit that jump shot. Campbell brought the hot hands to the spectrum here in the first half. The hot hands we refer to go back over the last 5 games. Campbell's getting the time. 23, almost a half a game now. 14 points a game, 61%. You cannot ask for more than those kind of numbers.
Weatherspoon getting inside, and he was crushed. Nice timing between Dawkins and Weatherspoon. Williams called for the foul.
Williams did a nice job recognizing the help that Mason needed. He got there at a good time, but there was contact on the right elbow of Weatherspoon, who at 6'6" goes up against a big man like Herb Williams, a 7-footer, and still creates problems way off the ground.
Manute sitting down. Andrew Lang is back as Weatherspoon misses on both, but it was deflected out by Mason. The Knicks have hit their last 4 shots They have moved within one of the Sixers, who at one point led by as many as 9. Dawkins being played by Rivers. Weatherspoon posting up on Mason. Dawkins for 3. Hit Zippo and gets the treatment from the crowd. Johnny Dawkins last year made it back from knee surgery. Did not have a good one against the Knicks last time they played here at the Spectrum. 1 for 8 from the field.
Johnny's only 6 for 24 now in threes this season. Anthony Mason powering his way into a foul shooting situation right now.
Personal foul. Sixers' second team foul. Anthony Mason at the foul line.
Doug Moe only wishes, as many NBA teams do, that they have the depth that Pat Riley's Knicks team is demonstrating here. All of this turnaround in favor of the Knicks is coming from the Knicks bench.
There is Doug, who says that the knee is feeling much better. Last time we were here in Philadelphia, there was the thought that Doug might need an operation, might need surgery during the season. That would have removed him from the bench for at least a month. Mo's left knee was replaced with an artificial one some 3 years ago, and the other knee has put him through some pain, but apparently it has come along. It's gotten better, and he will wait till the end of the season before undergoing surgery.
Doug had a long, fruitful playing career, which started at Erasmus Hall in Brooklyn.
Tim Perry. Every once in a while, he'll show flashes. Nice baseline spin by Perry. Sixers 42 and the Knicks 40. Halfway through the second quarter. Rivers, he throws the air ball handled by Perry. Back comes Dawkins. Dawkins with a hesitation dribble stopped by Rivers. Good play by Doc Rivers. Now Patrick Ewing getting set to check in. He'll come out for Herb Williams, who did a nice job. Charles Oakley will also re-enter.
Charles Oakley returns.
And Rolando Blackman will sit down. 4 points for Blackman. Field goal, 2 points for Williams. So the Knicks back to a front line of Ewing, Oakley, and Mason, with Starks and Rivers at the guards. Hawkins. Sixers lead by 4. Hersey Hawkins has 10.
He's so tough. He shoots them long-range, flat-footed, or he can do it off 3 dribbles as he just did. And the best part about his game is that he's now driving the ball to the basket better than ever.
Rivers given all kinds of room.
It was unbelievable. It was like he was the 6th man on the floor, and no one noticed him on Philadelphia.
76ers lead it 44-42. Dawkins to the finger roll, and it's tipped and missed. It will be 76er ball.
Greg Anthony returns for the Knicks.
Last time down court, Doc Rivers found a pick. Everybody's thinking about Ewing getting a return pass, but Doc Rivers had to shoot that jumper. Sometimes that's a distraction in itself when you're so wide open, but Rivers didn't allow that.
Rivers sitting down. Greg Anthony is back. Weatherspoon. Sixers by 2, just under 5 minutes remaining. First half. Marv Albert, John Andres from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Ewing. Loose ball foul on Mason.
Well, Mason's an honest attempt to get a rebound. Has a foul called on him, and he can't understand it.
Knicks now over the foul limit, so Andrew Lang will go to the line.
Well, Mason battling for position, gets pushed out. Well, that was rather Mason coming in. Oakley got pushed out. In that attempt to get that loose ball, Mason commits the foul.
Andrew Lang, a player who has improved his free throw touch over the years, 78% from the line. 5th season out of Arkansas, acquired in the Charles Barkley trade, along with Tim Perry and Jeff Hornacek.
Well, the feeling is that Lang is a very key player for the Sixers as part of that trade, and it was stated in one of the editorial columns today about Lang and the trade that the Sixers have got to find out how good he is, and that's why he's got that starting lineup now for the 25th time this season. They want to see him in a starting lineup just to see what his ultimate potential will prove out to be.
Mason. And Perry goes to the spin again. Nice move by Tim Perry in his 5th season out of Temple. Ewing was stopped. And a traveling violation call.
Yes, at the end of that second step, Patrick came to a halt. He didn't go up. After that second step, you better be going up in the air.
So the Knicks with their 9th turnover. They are trailing by 6 with just under 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Turnovers have been an interesting part of the last couple of games between these two teams. The last time the Knicks were here, they only had 8 in the game.
Hawkins for 3. Percy Hawkins, a 38% shooter from downtown. Now with 13, the Sixers by 9, and the Knicks call for time. Starts around the tumble. Buddy McGirt against Pernell Whitaker. And there are many who consider Buddy McGirt to be the best in the world, pound for pound. Tickets available at the Garden box office. Pernell Whitaker and Buddy McGirt at the Garden. Sixers lead by 9. Ewing try to go glass. Mason right there to slap it home. 76ers 51 and the Knicks 44.
Interesting dilemma for Coach Pat Riley. His substitutes came out and had an 8-0 run, got things under control. Oh, what an interesting play by Ewing. Intercepting the ball and losing his balance and hoping the behind the back pass would go into the right hand.
And a foul is called. John Starks called for the personal. The Knicks come into tonight 29-15, leading the Atlantic by 3.5 over New Jersey, 5.5 front of Boston, Orlando 6.5 back. Knicks have won 4 in a row. They come off the home-and-home sweep of the Miami Heat, while the Philadelphia 76ers, with 3 straight losses, they've dropped 5 of the last 6, going nowhere with a record of 17-26, and as usually occurs when a club is in this state, there are all kinds of articles written that hey, this club is better off falling into the lottery area, but what do you go out and lose games on purpose? You know, it's always interesting to me how that point of view comes up. And then if there is the suspicion that a team is not playing well, as Dawkins is fouled by, no, they say offensive foul on Dawkins.
It's an offensive foul on Johnny Dawkins, his second personal foul.
We'll take a look at this offensive foul. Let's watch the right hand of Dawkins. That's what's got him in trouble. That warded off Charles Oakley. Well, Doug Moe feels that in his defense, he's playing his best players big-time minutes. He said, if we're trying to lose, why would I be killing these guys?
Ewing. Patrick Ewing with 16. 76ers lead by 6. 2:20 to go in the first half. Dawkins setting up Lang. Andrew Lang with the slam.
Johnny Dawkins drew the attention of all the Knicks. As a result, Johnny saw people sleeping and got the ball to Lang.
And John Starks converts. Sixers lead it 54-48. And they get down in a hurry. Gilliam double team. Both clubs shooting very well in this first half. Perry slicing in and is fouled. It's called on Oakley. A very impressive stint for Tim Perry.
The basket is good. Tim Perry shooting one.
Perry moving down the middle after getting that beautiful pass. Charles Oakley going with a double karate chop and missing on both attempts to deter Perry.
76ers shooting 52%. The Knicks are just under 54%. Philadelphia leading by 9. Minute 45 remaining. First half starts. Hits the three.
At the three-pointer for John.
6-point 76er lead. Philadelphia getting back very quickly on the transition. Bad shot by Dawkins. Ewing's pass was deflected short.
Well, he had a wide open Starks, and he saw him.
Dawkins. And Perry able to keep it away from Ewing, but it's recovered by Mason.
Whoa.
Between the legs.
Very nicely done.
Anthony Mason handles the ball so well. Starks had the baseline closed, and he drew the foul. Hawkins is called.
Personal foul, Hersey Hawkins is second.
There's a treat, another look at Anthony Mason straddling the sideline, going between his legs, behind his... Oh, wow.
Also very close to a palm.
He keeps the ball so low. It's hard for tall guys to keep the ball low. I always found it that way.
Gee, why would that be, John?
We'll get into it on the ride up the turnpike if you don't fall asleep on me.
Ewing thought he was fouled. And you're sure it's okay for me to sit in the back? You have your little driver's cap.
No, I'm not going to wear the hat now.
Anthony going all the way, and he's fouled. Oh, what a move by Greg Anthony, and he'll go to the line.
Well, Greg didn't extend his arm to the rim, but he certainly measured the degree of accuracy needed quite well. High off the backboard, beautifully done by Greg Anthony. Another look from behind. Nice to have all these cameras. We can see that shot by Anthony going high off the backboard.
Armin Gilliam called for the foul, his third. 26 seconds remaining in the first half, and Greg Anthony getting set to go to the line. Here is Rolando Blackman for Anthony Mason. That in case the Knicks need a last-second long shot. Three-point play for Anthony. And the Knicks are now within 3. Anthony, 5 points, 6 assists. Ronnie Nunn will do it again. And Tim Perry will throw in. Here's some pressure by the Knicks on the inbounds. Now Dawkins moves it across. 76ers will try to use the clock.
They're keeping that middle wide open for Johnny Dawkins should he decide to try and beat John Starks.
Gilliam. Now Starks chasing down, but time has run out. Good shooting first half. The Knicks just under 55% from the field. Sixers got off quickly and then fell back in the second quarter. It's the 76ers 57, the Knicks 54. Bob Page coming up to bring you up to date at the MSG Sports Desk. We'll be back with the halftime highlights. Stay with us. By 3, the high men of the game. Patrick Ewing with 16. Clarence Weatherspoon with 15.
Too many as far as Pat Riley's concerned. Last time the Knicks were here, they forced 25 Sixer turnovers. And the Sixers, naturally, with more defensive effort with turnovers, are getting more points. And it's a low number for the Knicks, only 10 times at the foul line. Dutch boy in the paint. The Knicks doing a little better in the center position, a lot better actually. In the rebounding department, as expected, the Knicks have more rebounds than the Sixers do. That hasn't gotten them the lead in this game, and the Knicks have got to save their best for last once again.
And Pat Riley going with Patrick Ewing at center, Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley at the forward positions, Greg Anthony and John Starks in the backcourt. Charles Smith, who sat out last night with the flu, made his return. He did start the game, played 5 minutes, 0 for 2, and we have not seen him since. Anthony Mason, who played very well in the first half, starting in the second half. Here's Hawkins. And he stepped out of bounds. It'll be Nick Ball. We're told that Ron Anderson sustained an injury. No other details, but he will not return. Jeff Hornacek is sitting out because of a sore knee. The steal by Dawkins. Another Knick turnover. Setting up Weatherspoon. Ewing. Yes, open jump from the free throw line to bring the Knicks within 1.
Well, Ewing at 16 feet is quite reliable, and he had time on that.
Anthony with a 3-on-2. Oakley stripped. Good play by Hawkins, but it will be Nick Ball.
Charles sailing underneath the basket as opposed to going up to the basket in his continuing attempt to draw contact.
Starks off the inbounds, giving the Knicks a 58-57 lead. So the Knicks have come out firing away in this third quarter. They continue the excellent shooting. It's their first lead since the early moments. Tim Perry. Perry with 9 points. Philadelphia leads by 1. We mentioned earlier that Eric Anderson, the rookie from Indiana, suffered a severe ankle sprain last night. Well, Oakley gives the Knicks a 1-point lead. And the Knicks have reactivated Bo Kimball, who had been on the injured list since back in November. And we were wondering why Bo is not with the club. Off the steal, Weatherspoon is fouled by Ewing. No, they call it the other way. It's an offensive foul, a charge on Weatherspoon.
Weatherspoon went airborne in his attempt to slam dunk that ball. He's going to come in strong now, and he just ignored Patrick Ewing. Okay, he had his fun, but he committed the foul.
The word on Bo Kimball, the decision. Pretty move again by Anthony. Knicks lead by 3. The decision to put Eric Anderson on the injured list was not made until sometime late today. So Bo Kimball, not traveling with the club, was not able to make it here. Perry has had an excellent game offensively. Knicks now lead by 1. Bo Kimball will be with the club on Thursday when the Knicks play at the Garden against Houston.
Perry didn't take a shot in the first quarter. It's all been second quarter on. He's been rolling 3 for 3 in the second quarter.
Anthony,
way short.
He thought he was fouled. 2.5 gone by in the third. Sixers with the ball. They are now down by 1.
Knicks getting up tighter now on defense.
Hawkins with the drive through the foul. The Knicks are shooting 57% for the game. Philadelphia just under 47. Greg Anthony called for that foul. Percy Hawkins to the line.
Percy, a player with all-star skills, certainly now in his 5th season.
Sixers 63 and the Knicks 62. This is the 4th meeting of the season between these two clubs. They'll play one more time in March. Starks was stopped. Lang able to knock it away from behind. The Knicks won the previous 3. They won opening night at the Garden back in November and won here in Philadelphia January 22nd, and then at the Garden 4 days later. Mason. Strong move by Anthony Mason. It's the Knicks 64, the 76ers 63. 11 points, 9 rebounds for Mason. Dawkins' pass misfired.
Anthony Mason's last move to the basket after that quick lead pass from Starks. No backboard, and he still made it look easy.
And back comes Dawkins. Hopefully in Weatherspoon in a collision. They remain down court. Dawkins banks it. Starks trying to draw the foul, but did not get the call. Philadelphia leads by 1. Mason popping it back out. They are giving Anthony the shooting room. Oakley laying off the box out. Tim Perry guarded by Anthony Mason. Running hook by Perry. Got the roll. Tim Perry has 13 points. 6 of 7 shooting. 76ers lead now by 1 as Patrick Ewing hits again. He has 20.
The last shot attempt by Oakley was his debut from the field tonight. 17 minutes of play in the first half. He didn't take a shot.
Personal foul, John Starks is third.
John Starks called for his third. 4.5 minutes gone by in the third quarter. 76ers trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. Mason knocked it away. Perry on the recovery is fouled.
Last time the Knicks were here, Marv, there was a very interesting period of the game, which we're kind of seeing duplicated. The game was tied at 67 all in the third quarter. Knicks are 1 point away from that, and then they got on fire with a burst that turned the game in the direction of the Knicks. The burst led by John Starks at that time.
Starks finishing up with 32 points. Tim Perry fouled by Patrick Ewing. Tim, a native of Freehold, New Jersey, spent 4 years with Phoenix, acquired in the deal for Charles Barkley. Sixers 69, the Knicks 66. Won't count. Wally Rooney with the call.
Is second.
It's Lang picking up his second non-shooting foul. So the Knicks will inbound. Ewing. Strong move to the hoop, but could not convert. Here's Hawkins. Oakley couldn't recover. He was backpedaling. And Hersey Hawkins hits off the drive to give the Sixers a 5-point lead. Anthony taken to the floor off that reach-in foul. It's number 3 on Lang, and a timeout is called.
Sixers call timeout.
Sixers lead it by 5 with 6:35 remaining in the third quarter. Ewing sets the pick. Starks for 3. Rebound Oakley.
Nicely done by Charles. He went straight up to the hoop. Charles had an excellent game last night against Miami Heat in New York.
4 out of 6, 10 points, 6 rebounds against Miami. 76ers lead by 3.
I wish you were there, Marv, to see the passes he threw. We can arrange for a game tape review.
I did see the tape earlier. Traveling violation is called. So the 76ers take over. Johnny Dawkins, Hersey Hawkins in the backcourt. Clarence Weatherspoon up front with Tim Perry and Andrew Lang. Weatherspoon with a spin. His shot was deflected short. Starks with the step. Went right around Hersey Hawkins. Very quick first step by John Starks. And the Knicks trail by 1. 5.5 remaining in in the third. Dawkins again. Dawkins gets to it. Feeds Perry. And a traveling violation on Anthony gives it back to Philadelphia.
Whenever the big men put the ball on the floor around the basket, they risk getting stopped, and that's what happened to Perry. Turnovers have mounted for the Knicks. What a reversal of the prior couple of games.
Yes, Kersey says it will not count the foul before the shot attempt. Percy Hawkins does not get the continuation on it. Starks called for the foul.
Light foul call when you look at it from that angle, which is why Hawkins made the shot so easily. He wasn't bumped very hard.
Rolando Blackman has come on. Starks called for his fourth foul, sitting down. Here's Lang. Knicks wanted to travel, and they get a loose ball foul. That won't count. Andrew Lang.
Loose ball foul, Andrew Lang.
Picks up number 4. And here comes Manute Bol. So Manute off the bench, not getting the playing time. Played only 5 minutes in the first half. Bol replacing Lang.
Lang got 18 minutes, 6 points, 3 rebounds in the first half.
Blackman. And back comes Dawkins. Ewing in the face of Bol. The Knicks not allowing Bol to unleash one of those 3-pointers. Bol lost it. Ewing with the steal, feeding Anthony. Nice move by Anthony. Had Tim Perry draped all over him, although he was not fouled.
Strong move. That time he went right up to the rim with that jumping ability that Greg has.
So the Knicks lead 72-71. Nice play by Oakley. Here's Perry. Tim Perry is showing us the entire offensive arsenal. He has 17 points. 10 in this third quarter.
He's broken out after that scoreless first quarter.
Sixers have a 1-point lead. Ewing, yes. So they seesaw. The Knicks now lead by 1. Hawkins. Oh, look out. Oakley with a hard hit on Hersey Hawkins. Patrick Ewing got him before Oakley made contact, so Ewing is called. That's 4 on Ewing. Now Greg Grant for Johnny Dawkins. Manute Bol with a cameo. He sits down. Armin Gilliam checks back in.
You know, it's pretty impressive, Marv. The Sixers have been off since Friday night when they lost up in Boston. The Knicks, this is their 3rd game in 4 days in 3 different cities. And the Knicks are playing with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. They're really continuing their fine play in the effort department.
Doug Moe must be very annoyed with Manute Bol. He took him right out after the turnover. And Manute not even sitting on the bench. He's off to the side along the baseline as Charles Shackelford, who's not played at all tonight, is getting set to check in. The game is tied at 74. Mason on the rebound. Mason again. Anthony recovers, so the Knicks get the new 24. And a foul call on the Sixers. It's on Grant. Here's Charles Shackelford, who has seen limited action. There's Manute. As the Knicks take a timeout, 3:18 left in this third quarter. The score tied at 74.
Much lately. He didn't point any fingers at him. He just said his teammates haven't been performing, and that's part of the reason that I've had to sit him because he's not a big offensive player. He's not picking on him, at least until now.
Whoa! Charles Shackelford may be facing a quick hook here as he stepped onto the court and trying to inbounds off the pressure after Anthony hit that jump shot. So he turns it over. Minute may have some company along the baseline away from the bench.
Charles has been riding the pines for 7 of the last 10 games. He hasn't even gotten in.
Knicks gave it right back. That's the end result. Armin Gilliam off the steal by Greg Grant. Gilliam was fouled, and he'll go to the line.
A good recovery by the Sixers. Greg Grant, known for his speed, provides it right now. And what a nice return pass to Gilliam, who ran with him quite well.
Herb Williams called for the foul. Williams came on for Ewing after Ewing collected his 4th. 3-point play by Gilliam. The Sixers lead by 1. 2 minutes 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Anthony and Blackman now at the guards. Oakley, Mason, Williams up front. Good ball movement. Greg Anthony. Rebound, Charles Oakley. And Charles now hitting those putbacks.
Well, he's not being boxed out, and he's going up cleanly to the basket. Doing a good job.
8 points for Oakley. Knicks lead by 1. Here's Grant. Air ball fielded by Mason. Oh, that's close to a backcourt violation. Mason returning to Anthony, who did get it across. Anthony with a strong move, and he's fouled. Greg Anthony has had an exceptional game.
What he has done tonight so well is finish his shots. Many times he will penetrate and flip the ball up, and it just will kiss the rim and won't go in. But tonight he's been quite successful in 2 particular moves, driving to the basket.
Well, let's see how Greg fares from the line. You recall the 2 air balls last Thursday night in the game against Golden State, but apparently he has straightened things out at the foul line. We mentioned Rod Anderson out because of an injury. They say a bruised left heel, and he will not return. Knicks lead it 80-77, just under 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd. Perry forced it. The shot clock running down. Grant with the save. Here's Hawkins for 3. Grant again gets to it. Hawkins from downtown.
He's too good not to hit the second one after warming up with the first shot.
The game is tied at 80. Percy Hawkins connecting on his second 3-pointer. He's 2 out of 3 from 3-point land. Mason set up by Anthony. Oakley and Williams vying for that tip, and a loose ball foul against the Sixers.
Last offensive opportunity for the Sixers resulted in Hawkins getting a 3-point shot. And lucky for him and bad for the Knicks, he got another opportunity and canned it.
Shackelford called for the foul. Sixers over the limit. Herb Williams to the line with 1:12 remaining in this 3rd quarter. The Knicks are now 10 of 13 from the line. The Knicks 82, the 76ers 80. Sixers at 1 point in the first half, led by as many as 9. They opened up the game on fire, hit their first 9 shots, but they have cooled off since. While the Knicks have shot the ball very well, right throughout. Shot clock at 3. Hawkins has to force. What a shot by Percy Hawkins. He's tied the game at 82.
Oh, he's a great shooter. Coming out of college, in his senior year, Percy Hawkins led the nation in scoring at Bradley. 36 points a game.
Percy 7 of 10 for 24 points. Anthony got a piece of it. Grant on the recovery. Nice lead. Shackelford was fouled. Greg Grant pushing the ball down effectively. Foul called on Anthony, his third. Greg Grant, one-time New York Knick, in his fourth NBA season out of Trenton State.
Doug Moe arrived here in Philadelphia and appreciated Greg Grant's talents right away. He accelerates the offense, and that's what Doug Moe likes about him, and he gives him substantial playing time. Greg Grant has been important to this team, averaging 15 minutes a game this year.
And now Grant will sit down. Dawkins is back. Shackelford, a 73% free throw shooter.
We want to point out, Mark, that there is room on the Sixers bench for Manute Bol. He has chosen to stay seated on the floor.
Sixers by 1. Down to 15 seconds remaining in the third. Mason wheeling in, and he was fouled. Mason putting the move on Perry.
Personal foul, Tim Perry. His third personal
3 on Perry. And again, the Knicks to the line. Mason will shoot a pair with 7 seconds left in this third quarter. The Knicks now shooting 53% for the game.
Anthony Mason continued his fine all-around play last night at the Garden, led the Knicks in rebounding at 8 rebounds, in addition to his 14 points in only 20 minutes of play.
Tonight, 13 points, 12 rebounds for Mason. Final seconds of the third. Dawkins, Shackelford, and that's it for the third quarter. After 3 here in Philadelphia, the Knicks 84, the 76ers 83.
Oh, yeah. Consider the interest you're paying on your credit card.
Julius Irving among the 8 elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame. The announcement made earlier today, so the doctor is in. It's a highlight we've seen from time to time. One of the great ones is a look at the Hall of Fame electees, including a couple of former Knicks. Dick McGuire, congratulations to Dick, and Walt Bellamy, who has spent part of his career with the Knicks. Bill Walton, Dan Issel, Calvin Murphy, and Myers making it to the Hall. Walt Bellamy, I don't know, a lot of points, looks very impressive, but John, to me, not Hall of Fame timber. However, as Rolando Blackman opens up this fourth quarter, and the Knicks now lead 86-83, perhaps it finally justifies the Detroit trade of Dave DeBusschere to the Knicks. Why, it's one Hall of Famer for another, plus Howard Komize. Now I understand the move from the Detroit point of view.
Saw the light, Mark. Yes, very good. Typical unselfish Dick McGuire story I must pass on. Today he was obviously notified, and he went into the Knicks public relations office and spoke to Dennis D'Agostino, the manager of publications and information for the Knicks. And Dennis told me before the game that Dick went in and thanked him. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. Dennis responded with, Dick, you're the guy who was passing the ball to Sweetwater Clifton those 8 years and setting him up. Well, I didn't do anything. The typical unselfish Dick McGuire right till today.
And I would think Dick, at this moment, terrified about the thought that he will have to make some kind of speech at the induction ceremony.
Well, I guess his quiet brother might be happy to substitute for him, right? Al McGuire.
Off the turnover, Dawkins. Double pass to Grant. Stay right here, says Wally Rooney. The Knicks 86 and the 76ers 83 with 1:10 gone by in the fourth quarter. Pat Riley, who will be handling the Eastern Conference All-Stars in Salt Lake City by virtue of the Riley rule.
Right.
Nice going, Pat.
Several years of coaching the All-Star team for the West. It was decided to be best if we rotated. Well, Phil Jackson, Chicago Bulls have the better record, but because of the Riley rule now, which means a new coach must come in each year, he will be going instead of going to Malibu. He'll be in Salt Lake City.
But it is a great honor, and although deep down, perhaps Pat could have used the time off, I'm sure that he feels good about the fact that he will be the Eastern Conference All-Star coach. Charles Shackelford back to the free throw line. The Knicks now lead by 2.
As Pat always looks good, but he could put some work in on the tan.
Oh, little... you may be hearing from Chris Riley.
She'd like to put some work in on her tan, too. Chris is a regular attendee at the Garden.
How about your tan, John?
Actually, Marv, I have a sunburn, believe it or not.
Little Miami trip helping matters.
The electronic wizard and I worked it out Saturday afternoon.
Giving the Knicks a 4-point lead. Rick Grant with the hesitation dribble. Anthony Mason with another solid performance. Here's Gilliam. Knicks lead it 88-86.
Sixers are certainly shooting the ball better than they have of late. That was the complaint coming in tonight.
Grant making Anthony work very hard to get it across midcourt. Blackman. Oh, catch and shoot. What a release by Rolando Blackman. Knicks lead it by 4. Rolando is 4 out of 5 for 8 points.
He was also out of balance, too, and he shifted right around from left to right beautifully.
Shackelford getting inside. A strong power move by Charles Shackelford. The Knicks lead by 2. Blackman. Loose ball foul. Gilliam and Oakley converging. And it's called on Armin Gilliam. Andrew Lang, Percy Hawkins getting set. Check it out. They changed the call. It is Oakley charged with the foul, his 3rd. 76ers now with Clarence Weatherspoon, who just came on for Charles Shackelford, up front with Lang and Gilliam. Dawkins and Hawkins comprise the backcourt. 3 minutes gone by in the 4th. Gilliam went to the left hand, and Williams altered that shot. The Knicks in possession. They lead by 2.
Pat Riley likes the job Greg Anthony's been doing tonight. He's gotten most of the time, as he did last night in New York, at point guard.
Weatherspoon trying to post up. Mason front of him. Weatherspoon gets to it anyway. Mason leads the break. Unloads to Anthony. Oh, he beat Gilliam. What a move by Greg Anthony once again, who is finishing off on the drive. And that was a very difficult maneuver.
But you know what was special also, Marv, was how Mason got the defensive rebound and ignited the break all by himself.
Foul on the Knicks, and Gilliam will go to the line.
Not every forward can do this. Get the rebound and then power out of all the bodies around him and set up Anthony, who really put something special on that finish.
Herb Williams called for the foul, his 4th. Patrick Ewing sitting it out. Herb Williams on the floor, and Greg Anthony now replaced by Doc Rivers. The stat line on Anthony, 6 for 9, 15 points, along with 10 assists. The Knicks 92, the 76ers 90. 4 minutes have gone by in the 4th. Oakley.
Oh, nice, Charles. Nice. So deceptive.
And Charles has hit double figures once again. Delay of game warning against the Knicks. So Oakley with 10 points last night has done the same here this evening. 8 of the 10 coming in the second half. The Knicks lead by 4. Gilliam, strip, recovered by Lang. Dawkins shooting. Knicks 94. Sixers 92.
Well, the Sixers are keeping things interesting for their loyal fans who've come to this game tonight. In a tough town, as we all know, it takes a lot to fill the Spectrum, or fill arenas in Philadelphia when a team isn't playing well.
Doc Rivers off the bench. He has 6 points, getting right to it. The Knicks now lead 96-92. 55% shooting tonight by the Knicks. Weatherspoon will go to the line. The Knicks have come out and hit 6 of 7 from the field in the fourth quarter. Now Patrick Ewing returns, replacing Herb Williams. Timeout has been called by Doug Moe. 6:54 to go in the fourth.
There we were, a jillion miles outside of the hood. The bus got a flat, got no jack.
Point lead, 6:54 left in the game. Our Toyota matchup of the evening, not featuring the centers on the respective teams. A couple of tough small forwards, Clarence Weatherspoon, the rookie, and Anthony Mason going at it pretty well. Mason fronting Weatherspoon. He gets a good lead pass. And look at how Weatherspoon competes for that ball and gets that shot up, screaming I was fouled, but he didn't get the call.
And Clarence Weatherspoon, after the hot start, 5 out of his first 7. Since then, 0 for 6 from the field. However, Tim Perry has certainly taken up the slack. 17 points off his play following the first quarter. Patrick Ewing back on the floor. The Knicks now lead 96-93. 2-point Knick lead. So the Knicks with the strong shooting performance right throughout. 76ers opened up, hitting their first 9. They won 7 minutes 2 seconds at the start of the game without missing a field goal attempt. Foul call on Lang. So that's number 5 on Andrew Lang. Tim Perry returns. Armin Gilliam will sit down. Oakley up front now with Mason and Ewing. Rivers and Blackman at the guard. They double up on Ewing. Rivers. So the Sixers get it back. They're trailing by 2 with 6.5 remaining in the game. Lang with Weatherspoon and Perry on the front line. And Hawkins fouled by Blackman.
Well, Hawkins is such a good outside shooter. Blackman will respect him so much so that he fouled him, even from long range.
Percy Hawkins. It is a 1-point Knick lead. Hawkins, 9 of 11 from the line. He's tied the game at 96. It has been close throughout. At one point, the Sixers led by 9. That off that red-hot shooting at the start. Rivers pass picked off by Hawkins.
Well, the Knicks totally uncoordinated then. Ewing got in the way of Rivers, and as a result, Ewing's man broke it up.
Rivers trying to return the favor. Weatherspoon, nice fake. Oakley with the rebound.
Undoubtedly, the Knicks will look at Patrick Ewing now.
Blackman came off a screen. Ewing rejected by Perry. Shot clock down to 8. Here's Rivers. Ewing. Yes. The Knicks lead at 98-96. 24 points for Ewing. We're coming up on 5 minutes remaining of the game. 5 on the 24, and Perry off the mark.
Rush shot, off-balance offense gives the Knicks a good opportunity now.
That was rebound number 16 for Anthony Mason. Ewing with a tough angle jump. clock was down to 5. So he took the shot. Dawkins off a stutter step, setting up Dawkins. Lang timing the leap perfectly and drew the foul. So Andrew Lang will go to the line. Doc Rivers called on that foul. Lang 2 for 2 from the line.
Lang has been presented with the starting job here. Shackelford flunked the test last year. He had the starting role for a long time. Ball came in and has played around with it with some success, but it really belongs to Andrew Lang now.
Andrew started the first 20 games of the season, and then Doug Moe made the change, going to Manute. As we discussed earlier, Sixers did have some success with Manute Bol in the starting lineup, won 10 of 15, but it's gone the other way. And so Lang is back as the starter. He's tied the game at 98.
Well, you have to say the Sixers have responded quite well without the play of Jeff Hornacek, their leading scorer, who's out tonight.
Foul on Rivers. The Knicks have been over the limit. So the Sixers back to the free throw line. Right here, we're set for an update. Let's go to Bob Page.
Marv, at the Meadowlands Arena, Devils have forged ahead of the Rangers. John Van Beesbrook has had a tough time in the third period. He can't quite poke check Alexander Semak, who gives New Jersey a 5-3 lead at the 4:41 mark.
Thank you, Bob. Johnny Dawkins at the foul line missed his first of 2 free throws. 4:06 remaining in the fourth. The game tied at 98. Greg Anthony has checked back in, replacing Doc Rivers. 76ers lead by 1.
Riley recognizing the fine play of Greg Anthony is electing now to have the game end with him. He at the helm, and Ewing down low comes to the rescue once again as he did moments ago with that jump shot.
26 for Ewing. 76ers turn it over. Miscommunication between Dawkins and Lang. The Knicks lead 100-99. And a timeout being called by Pat Riley with 3:45 remaining in the game. Marv Albert, John Andres from the Spectrum in Philadelphia with 3 minutes 45 seconds to go in the game. The Knicks 100 and the 76ers 99. Charles Smith making his return after sitting out last night because of the flu start of the game. Played only 5 minutes. I don't know if he's still under the weather. Did not get much going in the 5 minutes, but it also could be the fact that Anthony Mason has come up once again with a sensational all-around game. Here is Ewing, and he drew the foul. Patrick Ewing to the free throw line. Tim Perry called for his 4th.
Well, Patrick is doing what superstars do, and that is he's finishing this game big. Hit the jump shot, he's worked down low. He's the focal point of what the Knicks want to get done as usual, and he's getting it done.
.28 for Ewing. The Knicks 102, 76ers 99. Knicks seeking their 5th straight win. They've won 8 of the last 9. Dawkins throws it back. Oh, well done. Andrew Lang trailing the play, able to stop to bring the 76ers within 1. Starks met by Weatherspoon, now double teamed. Ewing, yes.
I believe that's the last 8 points for the Knicks in the hands of Patrick Ewing.
We'll check it out. Paul Evans, our practice stat man, gives you the nod, John. Yes, it is. And the Knicks lead by 3. Witherspoon. Oh, what a shot. He had been quiet since the good start. He has brought the Sixers within 1. A good finish here at the Spectrum. With 2 minutes, 35 seconds remaining in the game. Ewing on fire. Goes to the drop step. Rebounded by Hawkins. This is going behind the back. Lang, guarded by Oakley.
Knicks take pride in their finishing defense these days.
Oh, bad shot by Perry, who's played so well. He hears it from the crowd. Plenty of time on the 24, but he took the shot and just did get a piece of the glass. Lang jumps out at Starks, finds Ewing open. It'll be Sixer ball.
Last time here, Patrick Ewing took 29 shots in the game. Had some criticism until he saw how many shots John Starks had taken. He had taken 29 too.
Quick release by Lang. Not the man you want taking a jump shot in this situation here. We're under 2 minutes. The Knicks lead by 1. Patrick Ewing is 13 for 24 tonight. Anthony again getting inside and finishes it off effectively. He now has 17 points. Knicks by 3. Hawkins. Lots of contact, no foul. Sixers keep it alive. Dawkins. Played well by Anthony. Witherspoon checked the clock. Witherspoon is fouled. The Knicks do not like the call.
Mason is doing his best to avoid a technical foul by taking his story off the court. John Starks all over him now to try and get him to calm down. Another look at Anthony. Feels he's all over the ball. Felt no contact. Unfortunately, didn't get a technical. Could have happened.
Witherspoon, not a good free throw shooter. He's been right around the 70% mark for the season. 7 for 11 tonight. 1:17 remaining in the game. So Witherspoon hits 1 out of 2. It's the Knicks 106. Philadelphia 104. That's time remaining. 1:10 left in the game. Starks beating Mason. Anthony given the room. Ewing to the finger roll. Rebounded by Mason.
Monster offensive rebound by Mason.
And a timeout is called. That's rebound number 17, a season high of that department for Anthony Mason.
It's bad enough Honda's having this President's Month event.
Point lead with under a minute left to go in the game. Timeouts remaining. The Sixers with 3 and a 20, and the Knicks with 2 and a 20. Anthony Mason saved the day with a tremendous offensive rebound. Patrick Ewing, an off-balance shot. Mason in traffic, right on the case, and got it back out. The Knicks ultimately called the timeout. That was his 17th rebound in the game, tying a career high set last March against New Jersey.
The Knicks 106 and the 76ers 104. It is Knick ball as we resume, down to 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Shot clock at 12. Starks popping out, gets the pick, picked up on a switch by Lang. Feeds Anthony with 5 on the 24. Anthony rimming the basket. Sixers down by 2 with the ball. 30 seconds to go. Dawkins able to penetrate. And he's tied the game at 106. The Knicks call for time.
Well, I think that over
10 seconds left to go. Tie game. Johnny Dawkins got loose for a layup. He appeared to be unguarded. That really hurt. But the Knicks are now in control of their own destiny. 24-second clock should be massaged by the Knicks. They have time to make decisions. It looks like Orlando Blackman's coming into the game now. Orlando's been shooting the balls quite well lately. Knicks have to go through a poise test right now and make sure they get a good shot and make good decisions.
Well, the crowd greeting the Sixers with enthusiasm as they break the huddle. That's Blackman checking in.
Pat Riley reminding his team they have a 20.
Anthony Mason will put it in play. Mason, Anthony, Blackman, Starks, Ewing on the floor. Knicks have the full 28 seconds and counting. Game tied, 106. Anthony, played by Grant now, just came on.
Ewing signaling Starks to come off the pick.
Ewing to the jump shot. Rebounded by Hersey Hawkins. Game tied. Sixers with 5 seconds remaining. Hawkins going to the drive, to the scoop, came up short. And we go to overtime. Hawkins looked back at the Sixer bench at Doug Moe to see if Moe wanted a timeout. And it's always a difference of philosophy. Some coaches feel, hey, if you get it up the floor, there's no reason to call for a timeout and risk throwing away the inbound. So he motioned, go for it. Hawkins did, and came up short.
Moe is unconventional when it comes to decisions. After the Knicks shot attempt by Ewing fell off the rim, Johnny Dawkins coming up court now. That was the one that tied the game moments ago. Dawkins moving beautifully. And the Knicks got the ball to Ewing, everything going their way. This is a shot that Ewing owns. It just didn't fall this time. Hersey Hawkins soaring for that rebound, comes down court, looks back, check Doug Moe out. Hawkins has been criticized throughout his career for being a very team-oriented player in some ways. Doesn't have that killer instinct, that selfish quality that sometimes works to a player's benefit. And in that moment of split-second decision-making, he perhaps cost himself and his team a better shot at the basket. He wasn't selfish enough at the right moment.
Now, in the past, Jim Lynam, who coached the 76ers, had been on Hersey Hawkins and try to prod him into being more assertive. There's Hawkins handling the ball.
Moe there, waving his team forward. 9 out of 10 times a coach will call timeout to design a play that they feel they can succeed with. Doug Moe's philosophy clearly on that play was, let's get the Knicks while they're off balance, while they can't set up. I've got one-on-one players. Hersey Hawkins has demonstrated tonight how tough he is, and that's what he went with.
And the other risk, if you call a timeout, is you have to get the ball in bounds, and that can lead to a turnover. The Knicks, in recent years, have been very successful in overtime. Not the case this season. They're 0-3 in overtime, while the Sixers 3 up and 3 down. The 76ers and the Knicks are tied at 106 as we head to the 5-minute overtime session. The high point man of the game, Patrick Ewing, with 30 on 13 for 26 from the field. Greg Anthony, 7 for 10, 17 points, 11 assists. And Anthony Mason, 15 points, 17 rebounds. Anthony with only 1 turnover, along with the 11 assists. It's a very impressive outing for Anthony, who is out there with Starks, Blackman, Ewing, and Mason as the Knicks control the tip.
Very gutty performance by the Sixers here tonight without their leading scorer, Jeff Hornacek.
Excellent play by Hawkins. That deflected off Blackman. Greg Grant staying on the floor. Grant, Dawkins, and Hawkins. Doug Moe answering with a 3-guard alignment along with Lang and Perry. Shot clock at 10. Hawkins, and Ewing gets to it.
You know, it's interesting, Marv. The Knicks have played well tonight. I mean, they have played within the character of their game of late. And the Sixers, coming in, limping in with a weak team, have really done a great job.
Yes, Jeff Hornacek out because of a knee injury. Ron Anderson not available in the second half because of an injury.
so often happens when the lead guy is out, a team rises.
Knicks and Sixers tied at 106. Minute gone by in overtime. Starks throws up a three. Rebound handled by Perry. Back to Grant. Dawkins started by Starks.
Knicks are into rushing their shots a bit now, not exchanging the ball.
Perry had it knocked away. Good play by Mason. And it will be Nick Ball. Neither club has scored in this overtime session with a minute and a half gone by in the 5-minute period. Ewing, yes. And again, the nice snap entry pass by Starks to set it up. Knicks lead 108-106. 32 points for Patrick Ewing. Sixers having difficulty locating shots. 7 on the 24. They double up on Hawkins. Down to 3. Perry. That's certainly one of the men the Knicks prefer to take the outside shot.
He's taken several rush shots after going through a period of hot hands throughout this game, in the third quarter particularly.
Knicks by 2. Ewing foul. Patrick Ewing with the drop step, and did get the step on Lang, and he'll go to the line.
By not hesitating when he gets the ball, Ewing makes it tough for the double and triple teaming efforts to be successful.
Now Clarence Weatherspoon returns. Brett Grant sitting down. So Andrew Lang has fouled out. 10 points for Lang. Along with 9 rebounds, Lang departs. And let's see what Doug Moe does right here. He certainly has turned on Manute Bol, who has fallen way out of favor, and Charles Shackelford played briefly. Going to the smaller man, Armin Gilliam will check in. There's Manute now back on the bench.
You know, this is interesting by Doug Moe. I mean, I think that Ewing will eat up Gilliam if he's matched up on him. I mean, the Knicks will continue to pour the ball inside.
The Knicks 109. The 76ers 106.
Doug Moe is gambling that he will get offense out of Gilliam where he will not get it, certainly out of Bol or Shackelford.
And I don't think he trusts either player in the closing minutes of an overtime. Knicks take a 110-106 lead. 2.5 remaining in OT. Dawkins to the driving hook, cuts it to a 2-point lead.
Well, Greg Anthony, known for his defense, is having a problem with the fleet-footed Johnny Dawkins here in the closing minutes.
13 overall for Dawkins. Got off to the bad start, but he's come on. Here's Ewing to the finger roll. Beautiful pass from Starks once again. The Knicks by 4. Hawkins for Dawkins. Rebound Oakley, who just checked back in. 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Just under 2 minutes left in overtime. Greg Anthony calling out a play. The Knicks gunning for their 5th straight win. And looking to make it 4 out of 4 over Philly. Starks extends to a 6-point lead.
And many people get up to leave the spectrum.
Here's Perry for 3. Well, he hits the 3. And Charles Oakley upset because he gave him the shot. I think Pat Riley would have liked Charles playing Tim Perry a little closer, although Perry is not one you respect from that range. So the Knicks lead is down to 3. Ewing, played by Perry, gets it inside to Oakley. Oakley on the follow. Tough second effort by Charles Oakley.
Charles big in the second half.
Knicks by 5. Weatherspoon shakes off the 3, gives to Dawkins. Here's Gilliam open. Knicks 116, 76ers 113. Under 1 minute to go in overtime.
Knicks want to massage the 24-second clock now.
Ewing puts the move on Perry to the fadeaway. Yes. Well, Patrick Ewing being guarded by the 6'8" Tim Perry. Knicks now lead by 5. 38 points for Ewing, 8 in the overtime as Gilliam draws the foul.
Good job by Anthony stopping Dawkins then on his attempted penetration, making him give the ball up.
Personal foul team's first last 2 minutes. Gilliam shooting 2.
Foul called on Ewing, and that is 5 on Patrick Ewing.
You know, Marv, a flashback to 2 weeks ago when the Knicks and Sixers met here. Looking ahead, the Knicks had 7 of their next 8 opponents at teams under 500. And what an opportunity for the Knicks. If it wasn't for the Atlanta Hawks, the Knicks would have been perfect. But the Knicks have taken great advantage of the matchups in the last 2 weeks.
It has been a sensational all-around game for Patrick Ewing. Season high of 38 points. And he's come up big in OT. Pressure by the Sixers. Starks try to save it. Could not. And it's Philadelphia ball. They are very much alive with 21 seconds remaining. Well, Starks called the timeout. John Starks did get the timeout call as he was headed out of bounds.
Mid-air timeout call by John Starks. Wow.
Sixers disputing it, but he got the call. A heads-up play by John Starks. There it is, while in midair calling for time. Well done by John Starks. The Sixers were furious that he got the call, but a terrific play by Starks. And it will be Nick Ball with 21 and 5/10 seconds to go in overtime, and they lead it by 3 points.
How fortunate Starks was to have a line of sight with the official. He had nobody clustering around him to deny him the vision that he could get that message through.
So when we resume, it will be Nick Ball. A Knick team that has shot 53% for the game. The Sixers, after the good start, are down to 43%. Following tonight, the Knicks with a couple of days of rest and resume Thursday night against the Houston Rockets at Madison Square Garden. Will be on hand starting with Knicks game night at 7 o'clock. Knicks, you'll recall, lost in Houston last month. 104-102. That's the game that saw Greg Anthony have that last second shot that was stopped by Olajuwon. And the Knicks move on to Chicago. They'll play the Bulls Friday night in Chicago. And Sunday afternoon, they go up against Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic down south. Patrick Ewing in overtime has hit for 8 points. He has 38 in all. That a season high. Season high in rebounds for Anthony Mason tonight. Mason with 18 rebounds.
Well, the pick almost picked by Ewing, but how nicely he moved and what wavelength he and Starks were on. Many times a surprise move like that surprises your teammate, but Starks read Ewing's move beautifully.
John Starks with 8 assists. He had 7 last night against Miami. Patrick Ewing making his way back onto the floor. He's out there with Anthony Mason, Rolando Blackman, John Starks, Greg Anthony. This seemed like a particularly long timeout. Apparently a problem with the game clock that has been corrected. And they have now put 13 up on the 24. So the Knicks will inbound from the baseline. Mason will throw it in. The Knicks lead by 3. Starks with 10 on the shot clock. They double up on Ewing. Ewing to the drop step. Yes! Make it 40 points for Patrick Ewing. 10 in overtime. The Knicks lead 120. 1:15. Timeout taken by the Sixers with 12 and 9/10 seconds remaining in overtime. Patrick Ewing now 4 for 4 in overtime. 10 of his season-high 40 points have come in this overtime session. He's 17 for 30 overall, along with 12 rebounds. Timeouts remaining. It'll be 76er ball with 12 and 9/10 seconds to go. And here's a look at the setup for Ewing.
Well, this is a mismatch, and those couple of inches that Ewing enjoys over Perry are paying off. Doug Moe doesn't have the guns that he feels confident with to go against Ewing, and boy, are the Sixers paying dearly, because the Knicks are pouring it into Ewing, and he's coming through big.
Doug Moe deciding not to go with Charles Shackelford. Goes 6'11", or Manute Bol. Apparently does not want them in there down the stretch, and Pat Riley has had his club take advantage. Over the last 11 minutes, Patrick Ewing has scored 18 of the Knicks' last 24 points.
And you know, Marv, if Bol was in there, Ewing wouldn't be scoring like he is. I really feel that, because he's killing him down low.
But Manute can kill you at the other end in other ways.
Well, but Ewing has taken over the game.
It's something that Doug will be wrestling with tonight. Here's Perry from three-point range, and that will wrap it as Starks gets it off to Anthony, and time has run out on the 76ers. The Knicks do it in overtime to make it 5 straight wins. 9 of their last 10. The Knicks go to 30 and 15 for the season, and now a 4-game lead over the New Jersey Nets. While the Philadelphia 76ers 17 and 27. They've lost 4 in a row, 6 of their last 7. Final score in overtime, sparked by Patrick Ewing. The Knicks 120. And the Philadelphia 76ers 115. 120 points, season high for the Knicks. We'll be back to recap it all in just a moment.
Like new blue jeans and old memories.
Season after losing 3 straight. Give and go between Starks and Ewing. Pretty finger roll by Patrick Ewing for 2 of his 40 points. The big bucket down the stretch, the drop step over Tim Perry. Patrick Ewing taking advantage of the height differential. And Patrick Ewing garnering honors as our NatWest Bank's player of the game. 17 for 30 for Ewing, who was in command. Final 11 minutes, it was Patrick Ewing with 18 of the 24 Knick points. We'll be right back.
When I wanted a mini system, I looked at the situation logically.
Nothing beats a Bud.
And the Bud dunk of the game, John Starks putting the move on Hersey Hawkins, going baseline and able to slam it home for 2 of his 13 points. We have been talking about the solid game for this man, Greg Anthony. 17 points, 7 of 10 from the field, 11 assists, only 1 turnover for Greg, and he is alongside John Andres. John?
Thank you, Marv. Yes, it's nice to greet Greg Anthony after a terrific all-around game for his team, and Greg Anthony as well. Greg, you are growing along with the team in your play this year. How would you describe what it took to win this game, as you were just telling me?
Well, really, mentally, we were a little tired, I thought. We were real lackadaisical. We had a lot of balls that just bounced off our hands. We had a lot of offensive plays that we didn't run correctly. But as the game wore on, we got more and more involved mentally, and I think physically we were there as testimony to the score. But mentally, I think we got stronger in the second half, and we've withstood some tremendous runs that they threw at us, and it was just a great win to come out of here with.
Sound like the coach being very critical, looking for the imperfections and pointing that out. Meanwhile, Greg, you played 37 minutes and had a very well-balanced game. Do you feel your confidence level rising now as the season wears on?
Yeah, most definitely. I attribute a lot of that to not only our players, Doc Rivers especially, but the coaching staff, giving me an opportunity and believing in me. And, it's been a tough struggle, and I still have a long ways to go, but I feel like I've progressed somewhat, and I'm getting better, and I'm starting to feel more confident in my abilities on the basketball court. And, I'm just hoping that I'm going to be able to contribute and continue to be involved with the Knicks as we look to become more successful.
Greg, you mentioned the Patrick Ewing situation. We were just talking now, and I questioned whether Manute Bol were to come in the game, would the Knicks have been as effective? But you had a very interesting response to that if Manute had come in the game.
Yeah, well, down the stretch, if he had have come in, we would have just ran him off pick and rolls. We'd have brought Patrick out, and Patrick being a great perimeter shooter, we can run him off pick and rolls, and Manute would have a problem defending that, and we could get pocket jump shots all night. So really wouldn't have been a problem for us. I think what they were doing was pretty effective in doubling down. Patrick just shot the ball tremendously well. He was beating the double team. And that's what the great ones can do, and he's done that consistently throughout his career.
Were you surprised at the play of the Sixers, who were undermanned tonight, without their lead player, Jeff Hornacek?
Well, not necessarily. I think most teams, they step it up once the star goes out with an injury or an illness or what have you. And that's all they did. They had a lot of guys who came in and gave them some gutty minutes and played extremely well. It was a great game for the fans. We were a little disappointed that we gave up that many points, but it's the NBA. You play 100 games, sometimes it's going to happen. But more importantly, we came out here with a victory.
Well, Greg, you finished with the team in very high fashion tonight, and it's nice to see, on behalf of your fans in New York, your fine development. And thanks for coming out and visiting with us.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Okay. Now let's get back to Marv Albert.
All right, John, Knicks shot 53% from the field overall, 51 for 96, so they continue the good shooting. We'll be back with more from the Spectrum in a moment. On Thursday night, airtime 7 o'clock, starting with Knicks game night. Marv Albert, John Andres saying so long from the Spectrum.
This year was an event. Sunday, it was a nationally televised spectacle. Sir Charles and Shaq, arguably the two biggest stories in pro basketball this year. MVP candidate Charles Barkley, who led the Phoenix Suns to the best record in the league, and Shaquille O'Neal, the rookie man-child who's turned Orlando from a Mickey Mouse franchise to one of the league's top draws. Of course, Barkley is still the raging bull of round ball as he wins friends while intimidating people. Just ask the referees who endure his wrath as he leaps over scoring tables with a single bound. Today, Charles Barkley on the new Shaq attack, a take on the marred shot case and his own ups and downs this year with the most volatile and most voluble player, the one and only Charles Barkley, up close.
And now, yet another exchange with Sir Charles. Here's Charles Barkley. We've done about 4 of these now in about a year. People never get tired. You get tired of you sometimes?
Well, I think that anytime you have an intellectual of my magnitude on the show, it's fun.
You never get tired of hearing Charles, huh?
I have fun with this.
I know you do.
I mean, sometimes it gets me in trouble because I don't take all this stuff serious. But I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, I've spent the prime of my life between 18 to 32 when I retire in the limelight.
Yeah.
And I can't get the good times back. I worked through it. But I'm going to enjoy it.
3 years and you're out, you said recently. That's it. I'm never looking back. You're going to hold to that? Come on.
I've been said it for 5 years now, and I think that's enough. I mean, I'll be playing for 11 years, and that's enough to do anything. It'll be time for me to walk around just being happy and rich.
The NBA may have enough of you, too, after this particular year. I want to talk a little bit. Before we get into the controversy in New York, let's listen to George Karl of the Sonics about the way the Knicks play. In other words, we'll take you out of the equation, let someone else do his number on the Knicks. I asked him if the Knicks cheat. Do they get away with murder? Here's the way the coach of the Sonics put it.
I think they make it a very difficult game to coach. I think it's a game that you got to challenge your team, that you got to tell them that you can't allow them to get away with what's going to happen.
And the referees can't call foul on every play. They want to have a game.
And some of the young referees in this league, I think the Knicks take advantage of.
See? You're not the only one who says it.
I saw that show, and I totally agree. When you're in Madison Square Garden and the crowd's on you, because the ref's going to call a certain number of fouls. But then what's going to happen, they're going to feel like, well, we can't keep calling every foul. And the Knicks, hey, and I don't mind playing physical, but I scored 2 points and had 5 fouls in 1 quarter. I know something's wrong.
Hacking was the term used. They're hackers.
They play great defense, but I think that the refs can't get intimidated. I think the young refs are intimidated in the Garden. Or intimidated in most home courts, actually.
Well, let's face it now. You did a little some of the intimidating with the referees, too. Now, we're going to talk about the incident, the altercation, okay?
It wasn't an altercation.
It wasn't?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't a polite discussion either.
Oh, no, I was mad because I got hacked.
Yeah?
You know, I don't know how I'm supposed to react in that situation. Am I supposed to say, good call, ref, or what? You know, hey.
But you're not supposed to jump over a scorer's table and run down the hall.
Oh, you're right. I'll totally admit that was wrong. But when you're in the heat of the moment, it's not like you say, well, I think I'll jump over this table. You know, obviously, I won't sit here and condone what I did that was wrong. But let me tell you something. When you're in that situation and you feel like your team was hurt, I just got mad. The only difference, I'm Charles Barkley, it's going to be big news.
Yeah, well, some people say you were mad because you took a bad shot yourself and you missed.
Oh, if I had made that shot, I'd been a hero.
And you wouldn't have minded.
Let me tell you something. The only difference between a good shot and a bad shot is if it goes in or not. That's the only difference.
Right, right. I want you to listen to Bob Costas. I was putting up an issue that Peter Vesey said in USA Today that week, and I think you remember what he said. He said if Charles Barkley were white and chased a black referee down the hall, there would be a whole outcry. This is the way Bob Costas talked about how, not necessarily Barkley, but some African-American athletes utilize the victimization issue. Here's Bob.
There are some of us white, quote, liberals out there who might have pulled back just a little bit saying, hey, is somebody going to think I'm cracking on the black guy? So, yeah, occasionally. Harry Edwards put it this way to me once. He said, sometimes we can use our chains as a weapon. Sometimes we referring to other blacks, and specifically in sports, we fall in love with our victim status and start wielding it as a weapon against other people to put them on the defensive.
Yeah. Do you think you use chains as a weapon? Be honest with me.
Oh, no, let me say this. First of all Afro-Americans are in chains.
Right.
As society, and especially athletes.
But have they used it as a crutch or a weapon at any point? Too much? At any point?
No, because things haven't gotten better. Because we, as black America, are getting worse. And us as black athletes, the money is not funneling down to black America. I mean, I'm not going to begrudge white America, but we actually help white America more than we do black America because all the money we make, I mean, they're paying us, but they're making a lot more off of us. And I'm not going to begrudge them, but I think we as athletes got to make them give something back to black America because in NBA and all sports, you know, we make so much money, but the money's not getting to the poor black people. So we're kind of a double-edged sword.
We're going to have Jesse Jackson. We're going to cue up that Jesse Jackson quote in just a moment here. But I want to get back to this issue. Try to answer it fairly. Okay. If you were a white guy chasing a black referee down the hallway and jumping over the scorer's table, don't you think you'd be treated differently by the league? Be honest.
Well, there's a double standard for blacks and whites. That's it. That's all I can say in honesty. There's a double standard for blacks and whites. But see, there's this thing about if you're a black athlete, you have to watch yourself a little bit more closely because we live in a racist society, and anything you do is going to be scrutinized more. And the media has this thing where, well, we like these black athletes as long as they stay in their place and do as we tell them, make us money and do as we tell them. Well, that's not right. If we want to say something, my thing is, if I'm good enough to make money, I'm good enough to voice my opinion. I think anybody who knows me knows that I'm not racist. But also, I understand that I am a black athlete, and I realize that I'm under more scrutiny than white athletes. That's just the way it is.
All right, Jesse Jackson then talking about the need for the responsibility of the black athlete to the black athlete's issues. Here's Jesse on our show not too long ago.
I think the point is that even a honeybee, which is brainless, feeds the flower that it robs to honor the law of regeneration. When our athletes are pulled out of their environment and are actually taught that other blacks are inferior to be their lawyer, their agent, their banker, their neighborhood, they become socially maladjusted and they become disoriented.
And thus it becomes our duty to try to make room for them to see the disadvantages of thinking that they are any better at what they do than their classmates at what they learn to do. So we have some special appeal for these athletes, knowing full well that we all are going to grow about the same time. What was painful to me is to watch these great athletes who are there for a moment when their playing day is over, they then do not have the option to grow. And so we simply urge them to feed the flower that they rob.
Have they done enough feeding of the flower? Black athletes for Black America.
Well, yes and no. I think a lot of the black athletes do a lot, but they're not in a situation. I mean, like for me personally, I'm trying to help the Barkley family, and I try to do a lot. I have a scholarship program at my high school, at my college, but that's not really, that's all I can do for right now. But I think we've got to force the teams, because I don't think sports in general do enough for the inner city, especially when the majority of the players are black. I mean, we should force the NBA to give back to the black community.
At the risk of a boycott, maybe? That's what Jesse Jackson's saying.
Well, a boycott, no, because sports have really nothing to do with reality. I think we can work together without boycotting, because that really doesn't do anybody any good. That hurts sports, that hurts Black America, that hurts white America. But we, because we're making a lot of money, they should give something back to the black community, and we should give something back to the black community. We owe them that.
Charles Barkley, we'll come back. We'll talk about some things you didn't know about Sir Charles. We'll do it after this.
Up Close is brought to you by Bud Dry. For a beer that's refreshingly different, try Bud Dry.
Oh, no. My hair's not only going gray, now it's getting thinner. I wish they made something for gray, thinning hair.
They have Grecian Plus. Grecian Plus is a fresh-smelling foam that gradually brings back natural-looking color, the famous Grecian way. But this Grecian has a big plus. It builds body for healthier, fuller-looking hair.
Your hair looks great. Feels thicker, too.
Grecian Plus, the total treatment for gray, thinning hair.
Well, we want to be together, but not too close together.
It's their first visit. I have a small car, and they are my parents.
For the way you travel today more than ever, the smart money is on budget. For the right car at the right price, call your travel consultant or budget. The smart money is on budget.
Buy an international business class seat, and that's what you get. So what's the difference? Continental's new Business First. With the room and comfort of a true sleeper seat. The luxury of international first class, but at a business class fare. Continental's Business First. The business class to Europe that's truly first class. That's the difference.
If you want a beer that's less filling like a light, with more great taste, why not make a change? For the better. Refreshingly different Bud Dry. Bud Dry is one beer that's less filling like a light, with more great taste. So why not get it together? Try Bud Dry.
With the MVP so far, 1992-93, Charles Barkley, the Phoenix Suns. Offbeat questions. What scares the hell out of Charles Barkley? What puts the fear of God in Charles Barkley?
Losing.